Why'd you call us?
Why did you tell us to wear suits?
I didn't even get time to put on pants!
Glad you asked.
Well, you see, I want to play a game.
Okay, Jigsaw, what's the game?
Balatro is a game I'm sure not many of you have heard about before the Game Awards announced its nomination for Game of the Year. I assume this because I had never heard of this game before that day, but I'm glad I did. You see, Balatro was released on February 20th, 2024. Almost 10 months ago. But even after that time gap, I had still never heard a peep of this game, despite its quite unique nature. It describes itself as what happens when poker and solitaire meet, but I think I would describe it as the Binding of Isaac and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters walk into a bar, and this game is the punchline. The reason I say this is because it's and listen closely when I say this, a roguelike deck builder game that just so happens to be poker-based. And despite my crippling gambling addiction, I am completely trash at Balatro, and that's how you can tell the background gameplay is mine. No. I adore Balatro with all my heart, and that's why I'm sitting here, ready to convince you that despite the amazing picks for Game of the Year 2024, Balatro is the one who hands down deserves the trophy. Okay, I think I've summed it up pretty well. Hello. Okay, before we begin, I would like to talk about the picks for 2024 Game of the Year. Now, out of the 5, minus Balatro, I only want to talk about 3. Now, don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and ReFantazio were amazing games in their own right, but that's kind of what makes me not want to talk about them. I mean, they were just good games. Let there be light. But, like, there's nothing much to talk about there. I mean, other than Final Fantasy VII being a remake again. However, Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, and Shadow of the Erdtree. Oh ho ho! I have some words for them. Starting off with Astrobot. Astrobot is a masterclass in 3D platforming and my favorite example of the genre since Mario 64. Yes, I'm 16 and grew up with this game. I'm an enigma. Don't question it because you will get no answers. However, my problem with Astrobot is it's a game where Sony goes, oh, look at all these cool properties we have access to and own, and does fucking nothing with them. Look, I get there will be some hardcore Sony dick writers in the audience who are like, this and that and this and that. And I get that the studios like FromSoft are busy doing, I don't know, what the fuck are they making now? Ghost of Yote? Is that even a FromSoft game? But come on, what about Little Big Planet 4? I mean, like, make it like Smash Ultimate. It's just 3, but it's revamped. Some new tools, a campaign, hell, even a PC port. It's just... And then every year after that, just port it to the new console. It's not rocket science. Well, actually, if I had Little Big Planet 4, it could be, I could make it rocket science, but that's besides the point.
Validating, Eddie!
In addition, FromSoft. Port Bloodborne to the PC. I mean, you already have it, might as well. It's not even that hard. Just do it, either that or get to work on Bloodborne 2. I don't care which one, just choose. I'm telling you, every cash grab that Sony takes is actually just the quickest way they're going to make the least amount of money. I mean, like, you have all these stacked games, and you're just gonna be like, no, remake Final Fantasy again. I mean... What do you expect from a bunch of old, white, out-of-touch dudes? Hope they get shot in the street next. Next up is Black Myth Wukong, and this one's just like, I don't really have much to say about it. It stirred up a bit of controversy. I don't even remember what it was for. I mean, that's just how the news cycle is now. So much shit happens that after 2 months, you just fucking forget. Look, honestly, I would be happy if Funny Monkey Game won. But at the same time, I wouldn't. And lastly, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. You're a DLC, get out. Look, I get that a DLC has always been able to be nominated for Game of the Year, but like, Why? Why? Don't get me wrong, Shadow of the Erdtree, absolutely amazing, and so is Elden Ring. I mean, FromSoft did an incredible job, and they had their chance to shine in 2022 whenever they won Game of the Year. Same stage, I actually got the crazy lore drop that Bill Clinton is actually a Reformed Orthodox rabbi.
I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
Up until this point, I've said some pretty weak stuff talking about why those games shouldn't win Game of the Year, and I'm not gonna pretend to be some epic game reviewer. I sure as hell am not interested in that. But I will speak my mind. And what my mind says, what I feel in my heart, is that these games are boring. Except Astrobot, and even that's a bit of a reach if you ask me. Everything we see here, we've seen again and again. I mean, we've seen Soulsborns, we've seen Souls-likes, we've seen 3D platformers. Even though they're all unique in their own way and they play different and they have all these different mechanics, we've still seen the base DNA elsewhere. Now, that's not to say they're undeserving of the accolades they could achieve. Far from it, actually. If Shadow of the Erdtree won every award it was nominated for, I wouldn't be mad. These games are great. But at the end of the day, these are all still just AAA clones and remakes. Who the fuck is honking? At the end of the... There's a plane now. But Balatro. Oh my motherfucking god. Kill myself after this. But Balatro. Balatro's different. I mean, it's unique. It's nothing like anybody has ever seen before. And to make it even better, it's an indie game. Now it just feels like we're swimming in corporate slop. One Concord after another. But indie games never disappoint me. I mean, just for a few examples, Ultra Kill by Hakita and Peter. I mean, it's an absolute masterclass in movement first-person shooters, and its breakneck pace just makes it that much more fun, but that's also the scariest aspect of it sometimes. Each level pops with personality and character. Each gun is fun and unique in its own way, and all of the enemy designs are just forever iconic, from supreme grade machines to low-ranking scum demon. And just this year, we got another masterpiece that in its short amount of time on the store has climbed the ranks and topped everything else in its category despite being an indie game. And of course I'm talking about mouthwashing. At first, I knew nothing about the game. I saw it was popular, and I hated it, which is a really bad habit of mine. But then I went into it blind, and I came out the other end broken. Mouthwashing is the most psychologically damaging game I have ever had the pleasure of playing in my entire life. Its story is rich, and it doesn't rely on cheap jump scares. It just does crazy shit, and it freaks the player out. And another thing that mouthwashing relies on, another reason why its horror is so good, is because from here to 100 years from now, no matter what you could think of, it is not as scary as your own brain. No matter what you can think of, the scariest thoughts are the ones that are implied. For example, Jimmy's implied assault of Anya. I mean, it's basically adopted into the community as what truly happened, and there's a reason for that. Because the implication is there, it's never outright stated, but that implication's just enough for you to know that it happened. Is it ever told to us outright, hey, Jimmy assaulted Anya and Curly knew the entire time? No. But that wouldn't make it scary, that wouldn't make it mentally wrecking. I think the small pieces of information we get are just enough to make it just that much more powerful. That singular line, Captain You Knew, crushed my soul. Everything about these three games is fun. It's exciting, it's amazing, it's innovative. From story to gameplay to just pure brain-rotting fun. And then the question becomes, Ultra Kill, Mouthwashing, Balatro, Lethal Company, why are all these small budget indie games with like 1 or 2 or 5 developers so much better than anything a AAA studio has put out in 5, 6, 7 years? And that's why I think Balatro should win. I think that if Balatro wins, somebody that the gaming industry might view as a nobody, from their throne chairs and their big executive buildings, if this nobody wins, that might light a fire under their ass. I'm gonna tell you something, I don't give a shit about the next live service game with a battle pass. Sorry, Marvel Rivals. And I sure as hell don't care about the next Soulsborne, or the next Souls-like, or the next this, or the next that, or the next remake, or the next Concord. I care about games that can change my perspective and outlook on life. I care about games that will always be fun. I mean, like 9, 10 playthroughs over and over and over again. Are there games like that being made by AAA companies? Yes! I mean, we had Elden Ring, we had God of War Ragnarok. It's just, I want more of it. I'm tired of those being diamonds in the rough. I don't want that. I don't want slop. I don't want Marvel Rivals or Overwatch 3 or fucking Concord 2. I don't want to sit there whenever the 2025 Game of the Year nominations come out and just go, oh, well, that game was good, or oh, well, that game was fine. I want to jolt up in my chair and get a headache because all of those games are so innovative and so fun and so unique that there's no way to choose. There's no way to choose a favorite. I want gaming to be fresh and just as off the walls insane as it was like 20 years ago before I was even born. It kind of feels like I missed out in something I had no say over. So that brings us to the next topic.
Who the hell are you talking to?
The audience?
You know what? Why should we even stay? You're talking to an invisible camera telling us that you want to play a game and not elaborating.
Yeah, we're leaving.
I got Shaq gummies.
I don't know about you guys, but I've always wanted to chew on Shaq's face.
Okay, how do you play?
Alright, with that insane and delusional rant out of the way, let's start talking about the gameplay. You start off on this screen. You have the red deck, which gives you 1 extra discard. The more you go on and do, the more decks you'll unlock, like the black deck, which gives you an extra joker slot for the cost of 1 hand, the blue deck that gives you 1 extra hand for each round, or my personal favorite, the yellow deck, which gives you 10 extra dollars. Once you jump in, you're immediately met with 3 options, although you can only pick 1. You have the small blind, big blind, and a boss blind that is always changing. Picking the small blind, you're met with more information, and unlike real poker where you just earn chips, you have to play poker hands to earn a certain amount of chips or you lose. For the first small blind, you need to earn 300 chips to continue. You also start with 52 basic cards in your deck. You draw hands of 8, and you can play up to 5 cards in a turn. You get 4 turns per round, and usually 3 discards, but with the red deck, that is now up to 4. Each poker hand has 2 different components to it: chip value and multi-value. For example, the lowest, a high card, has a base chip value of 5 and a multi-value of 1, while the highest, a straight flush, has a chip value of 100 and a base multi-value of 8. Obviously, chip value is how many chips come with just playing the hand, and each card has a value going up numerically, like a 2 is a 2, a 7 is a 7, and an ace is an 11. With each face card being 10. Let's say you get a 3 of a kind with kings. Base sats for a 3 of a kind are 30 base chips with a multi-value of 3. Add those 3 kings to the 30 base chips and you get 60. Now this is where the multi-value comes in. As you can infer from the name, multi-value is a multiplier. So a 60 with a base multi of 3 is 180. Therefore, with base stats, a 3 of a kind with kings would score you 180 chips. After getting 300 chips, you complete the blind and get money. You get more money the less you play hands and the less you discard. Then you are taken to the store, the single most important thing in Balatro's gameplay. Here you can buy cards and vouchers, but I'll get to most of them later. You also have the big blind, which is the same as the small blind, just with the chip goal being higher. Now the boss blind is where I'd like to draw your attention. There are these things called antes, which are a set of 3 blinds. There are a total of 8 antes in the game. Each ante gives you a random challenge as the chip goal gets higher. Boss blinds can be anything from you can't play hearts to I hope you like pain because you only get 1 hand. That's right, we hate you. There are a total of 23 boss blinds in this game, and some of them are absolute hell, I'll fucking tell you now. After 8 antes, you complete the run. This gives you bonuses like new decks and new cards.
Okay, well, I got a straight flush. That means I win, right?
Well, not so fast there.
What? You have a 3 of a kind with aces. That's impressive, but that doesn't beat out a straight flush.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure. I mean, with my level 5 3 of a kind, that's 143 chips with an 11 multi-score, and that certainly beats out a level 1 straight flush, but I also have this.
A joker?
Nuh-uh, a half joker. It gives you a plus 20 multi-score if you play 3 or less cards. What? Come on, don't hate the player, hate the game.
That's not in poker!
But this is Balatro.
You're mentally ill.
Survey says...
Okay, what the hell is a joker?
Up until this point, I've failed to mention the most important part of this game, you know, the thing that makes it a roguelike and a deck builder. Jokers, Tarot, Celestial, and Spectral cards. There are also base cards, and those are just typical normal deck cards like 3s and 8s and queens, so not too important. In the shop, there are 2 card slots where any card can spawn, and there are also, similarly, 2 pack slots where any 2 packs of cards can spawn. You can re-roll the card slots, and each pack holds a different type of card, starting with Jokers. Jokers are incredibly important and my personal favorite subsection of card in the game. Jokers give you chip bonuses and multi-bonuses, but by default you can only hold 5 at a time. They're also found in Buffoon packs. It can be as simple as giving you chip bonuses for playing straights, or a 10 times multiplier if you play a flush, or they can be insane, like giving you a 20 times multiplier for playing a hand with less than 3 cards, or destroying a joker and adding its sell value to the multiplier of that joker. Or it could be even crazier, like giving you 2 random jokers if you have the space, or allowing you to go $20 into debt. And there are a whopping 150 jokers for you to choose from. Next up are Tarot and Spectral cards, found in Arcana and, well, Spectral packs. They do a wide variety of things, from giving your cards special effects, or doubling your money. I don't have much to say about them, actually, other than the Tower card. I love you, Tower card. And lastly are Celestial cards. They're all based on planets, and each planet is used to upgrade your poker hands. They give you more base chips and a higher multi-score permanently. Speaking of permanently, I forgot to mention vouchers. Each one gives you a permanent effect, like an extra hand, or half-price shop items, or nothing.
Is it clear now?
Yeah, it is. You suck at everything.
Oh, hey now.
Fuck you, dude.
Come here. How was your time working on this epic video?
Spooky. His opinion.
Oh, critter. What do you have to say, Nuke? Nothing. My son has nothing to say to you. Oh, look at my son. Pride is not the word I'm looking for. Well, now that I've lost all my friends to Balatro, I think it's time I share some real opinions for a second. Earlier in this video, I worded some things wrong, I will admit. Do I think modern gaming is complete shit? No. There will always be really good AAA games. However, I think I've made it very clear at this point that I think that indie games are so much better in the way that they're made, the way that they're presented, and the story, the gameplay. Everything is so much better. It always feels like a breath of fresh air. Either that or the past few years have been just really good for indie gaming. I just don't want us to keep falling down the slop bin for every good game that comes out, for every God of War Ragnarok, for every Elden Ring, for every Dark Souls 3, for every Spider-Man Miles Morales. We'll have fucking 5 Concords. I think it's my belief that everybody who is nominated, most everybody, fuck you Final Fantasy VII, deserves the trophy. No matter who wins it, I don't feel like I'll be mad unless it's Final Fantasy. I think every person who's up there deserves to be up there. However, I'm sorry, my son is barking at the door. Like, for example, Astro Bot's new and refreshing, but also incredibly nostalgic at the same time. Well, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is grand and majestic. And Black Myth Wukong is an amazing game based off of an amazing mythos that inspired the likes of Dragon Ball and other insane pieces of media. But all of them deserve it. However, I think Balatro deserves it just a bit more. Balatro is fun, it's addictive, its gameplay loop is just iconic, and you can go through it for hours. Trust me, I went in for 5 minutes of footage for this video and came out with 2 hours. I just think that if Balatro wins this, maybe that could inspire something. In conclusion, modern gaming can suck sometimes, but indie games will always have a special place in my heart. Now more than ever, indie games are so popular and prevalent, and I think it's time they get the recognition they deserve. I think companies should listen to passionate developers and not greedy shareholders. I think it's time those guys get the limelight. But hey, these are all just my own opinions, and I hope they didn't make anybody too mad. But no matter who wins, no matter what name comes out of that envelope, no matter what anybody says to me, Balatro will always be Game of the Year 2024. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. It means so much to me. And happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hey, and may the best game win.